It was founded in 1637, though they think it actually dates from 1629, in the time of Governor John Endicott, who we'll talk about later. But 1637 is the designated time that this cemetery was opened. We're the oldest one in Salem. We are possibly the second oldest documented cemetery in the country. Pretty impressive. The gravestones. Notice they're going in one direction basically, which is on the east-west axis. That's because out there in the Atlantic Ocean, beyond those buildings, that's how the sun rises. So the rising of the sun, the rising of the body represents resurrection. That's why they face in this direction. Now, a lot of times on a lot of gravestones, you'll see the rising sun, especially on the gravestones of young children, because the Puritans were hopeful that their children would get to heaven, but not necessarily. They believed in what is called predestination. You were predestined, no matter how you lived your life, to go to heaven or not. But they were hopeful that their young children who died would go to heaven. So you see in a lot of gravestones the rising sun. Not on this gravestone. This one here is known as the winged death's head. It has the wings and the skull. The Nazis in World War II used this on some of their insignias. So it's the 17th century symbol of mortality for the Puritans when they're coming to Salem. Now the reason we want to stop at this particular gravestone is the gravestone of Justice John Hathorne, one of the 3 original magistrates of the witch trials. He never apologized. He was known as the hanging judge. Now, what is interesting about the name Hathorne, it sounds a lot like Hawthorne. That is because this gentleman is the direct ancestor, the great-great-grandfather of Nathaniel Hawthorne himself. Now, you guys probably read him in English class. He's most famous for the Scarlet Letter. It's about religious hypocrisy in Boston with the Puritans. A year after that, he wrote The House of the Seven Gables, which is based on the oldest wooded mansion still in existence in New England. It's down on Derby Street. It's called the Turner Ingersoll Mansion. I mention that because I work over there. So if any of you guys were there today, I didn't notice any of you. I noticed possibly a couple of you guys. But I recommend going to the House of the Seven Gables. Hawthorne based his novel on that home, the Turner Ingersoll Mansion. Now, Nathaniel Hawthorne used to visit the grave of his ancestor all the time. He would actually go around the cemetery, look at different names, and put them into his novels. So Hawthorne, like a lot of things in Salem, is morbidly creative. That's part of his kind of genius of Nathaniel Hawthorne. Now, see this gravestone, see how it's protected? I actually personally know the gentleman in 1984 who resurrected this gravestone. It actually was falling over. He actually took it to the police station to make sure that it would be protected. So even though this is one of the most infamous people in colonial history, people have actually preserved and always feel, in a sense, magnetically attracted to this site with Justice John Hathorne. So he will live in infamy forever. But it's being protected from now on. Okay. All right, guys. Well, what we're going to do right now is we're going to head out of the cemetery over in that